If you've watched any of my videos, then you know that I have experienced my fair share of complete disasters. My home has been in a devastating state on more occasions than I'd like to admit. And you know what? They always say that the state of your house often reflects the state of your mind, and that cannot be further from the truth for me. In today's video, guys, I actually wanted to kind of open up with you a bit about my mental health journey. I feel like I've kind of hinted at it a few times in the past where I've said, oh, I can't post right now because I'm not feeling good or I'm not in a good space mentally. But I have also mentioned to you guys that I am in a better place than I have been in a long time. So I thought in this video that I might just do kind of a chat with you guys to share with you, some of the things that I've done to kind of help my mental health and to kind of help me be a better homemaker. So yeah, this is definitely going to be more of a chatty. There is going to be music in there. I'm going to be sharing with you some of my other videos that I have filmed in the past while I talk about this. And yeah, I hope you get some insight as to how, I've kind of dealt with these different seasons in my life. And hopefully this will also give you guys some tips if you need some to help you with your journey. If you're struggling with mental health right now, then hopefully this will kind of help you a little bit as well. So let's go ahead and go into this video. La gente dice el chamaco le mete, ey. Solo en la cabeza tengo los billetes, tengo piquete, estoy bien. No tengo de 100, pero tengo los míos, hermano. Aquí estamos todo bien, ey. Me gozo la vida. So I remember when I actually first posted this video, it was in the height of C19, if you know what I mean. And everyone was literally freaking out about the world, what is going to happen. People were dying. There was just a lot going on. And as a single mom, I was in a place of shock. Like, I was worried. During this time, I was actually working 2 jobs while caring with my kids, and I just did not know what I was going to do. I felt hopeless. I felt overwhelmed. I was afraid. And I think there was a time when I just kind of gave up. I just stopped caring. I just didn't really want to be bothered with anything because I just felt I was definitely in a very depressive state where I just felt really hopeless and just didn't really feel like things were going to get any better in my situation. And so my house kind of got into this place. And I don't know what I was thinking here. Like, I don't know if I was embarrassed about posting it at the time, but I just decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to pull out my camera and I'm going to share this video with strangers on the internet, and I'm going to post it no matter what. I'm just going to post it, and I'm going to show that you can do it too as a single mom if you're struggling. That was my biggest intention in posting this video. Now, when it kind of posted, it definitely blew up. Like, at first I was just like, okay, I'm getting a few views here and there, and then it started to get a lot of views to the point where it got to 2 million views, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing. A lot of you met me at this or during this video, is how a lot of you kind of found out about me. And that's one of the things that I'm like appreciative of this video, is that not only was it a time when I was like afraid, but I decided to still, go on and do something about my fear, but also I got a chance to meet so many people that were inspired by that video. Now, even though I got a lot of people that were inspired, I got a lot of hate comments from this video. People were calling me names. They called me pig. They called me so many different things. People were threatening to call CPS on me. And that also just like added to my depression, because I'm like, oh my goodness, am I gonna lose my kids because I posted this video? Like, what if my ex sees this and he tries to kind of use it against me? Like, what's gonna happen then? Like, that also like made it even worse. So even following that video, I still kind of was really scared about posting content. But now 3 years have passed, and I look back at this and I'm like, wow, like even though at the time I feel like I was really ashamed of myself. Like when I started getting those negative comments, I was really ashamed, and I kind of felt like, what is wrong with me? Like, why would I let my house get to this point? Even worse, like, why would I even post it? Um, but now I'm like looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I'm proud of this woman. I'm proud of her for standing up. I'm proud of her for posting even when she was afraid. I'm proud of her for getting up and taking care of her home. Um, and I think there was a point here when I actually wanted to delete this video and most of my cleaning videos. I wanted to just delete them because I felt like they reflected poorly on me. That I was a bad mother, that I, wasn't taking good care of my kids and my house. So I wanted to delete them. But then again, I realized that, somebody else may be in the same position that I was in, where they're watching that video and they're probably struggling. They're struggling emotionally, they're struggling mentally, they don't know how to, move on. And they watch this video and they get some sort of inspiration that they can also get up and do it. So instead of like deleting it, I decided to just keep it up and allow the negative comments to continue.
Finding my way back home. All the years have seemed so long, like steering in the dark. Call me by name, call me out over distant waves. Lead me where the lighthouse stands upon the shoreline. Here I am, here I stand. Life and hope tomorrow. Here I am, here I stand. It's another day for hope to come. Bring me home, bring me through the storm. Though the waves are misbehave, calming down, keep my heart and lead me on. Lead me where the lighthouse stands upon the shoreline. Here I am, here I stand, here I am. There's life and hope tomorrow. To be sung with all of my breath, I will sing it. Here I am, here I stand, here I am. There's life and hope tomorrow. Here I am, here I stand. It's another day.
Okay, so now that I've given you a bit of a background, I do want to state that if you have kind of struggled with your mental health, be sure to let me know down below your experiences. Like, it's not really a fun topic to talk about, but I think it's really empowering when we can all share our experiences and be able to help others who may be struggling. So be sure to leave me a comment down below to let me know what you think. I mean, what your experiences have been. I have kind of been in a place now where I feel like I'm ready to share my experiences. I'm ready to kind of be vulnerable and kind of share what I've been going through, to kind of help somebody else who may be struggling in a situation like I was. So now that I've kind of gotten a little bit of that background out of the way, let's talk about some of the things that have kind of helped me. So the first thing for me was getting to a place where I realized that I wasn't really lazy. I just needed help mentally, like mental help. And I think it's so crazy when I posted the other video, like I got a lot of comments. People were like telling me, "Oh, you're lazy, or you don't know how to take care of your home and all of these different things." And I'm like, I know that I'm not lazy. Like there's something else that's making it hard for me to take care of my home. And at the time, I didn't really understand it very well. Like I didn't fully comprehend how my mental health was affecting me in taking care of my home. So I didn't really understand that as well. But now that I'm looking back at it, I realize, like at this stage, like I was completely overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by my responsibilities. I was living in a constant fear of, when am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my bills? Anxiety and all of that stuff just crippled me. I was also really struggling with co-parenting, like dealing with an ex that was causing me a lot of stress at the time, just made it hard, on top of the demands of being a single mom. And then there was that guilt and regret from being a single mom. Like at this time, I was, being the way that my ex was acting towards me just kind of led me to feel a lot of regret, a lot of guilt that I had allowed myself to be in that place, to be a single mom. So those things were really like crippling me, and they just kind of made it hard for me to feel optimistic about the future. And that's hence why things kind of got to the place where they were. And in the instance of this video, on top of all those things that I was struggling with, then here comes C19, and now it's like, oh my goodness, are we gonna die? Like what's gonna happen? So all of those things together really affected my mental health. So I realized, that I had seasons when I was happy, I was doing well, I could take care of my kids, take care of my house. And then I had other seasons where I could barely leave their bed. All I could do was just take care of my kids, cook for them, give them a bath, and, try to entertain them. And, that's the best that I could do during those times, but I really didn't have enough energy to clean my space or, take good care of it. So now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, you know what? This was a result of the stress that I had on me. And when you actually realize the root cause, of your depression, of your anxiety, and whatever it is that you're experiencing, like that's when you can actually start making changes and start doing things that you need to do, to get better.
You said that you needed me like a cargo, you will carry me. I just hope you know my depth, even though it makes no sense. Sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotions. Sometimes I'm the lightning, don't wanna pick a fight with. Everything seems so good. I guess I can't help
Now, during these times when I was struggling the most, I think one of the biggest things that really helped me was that I really leaned on God a lot. Like, I plan on actually doing a blog post about this, but being a single mom has really pushed me and forced me to strengthen my relationship with God a lot. And I'm so grateful for that. I got to this place where I was like, okay, I'm really struggling. Like, I'm struggling mentally, I'm struggling with a lot of different things. There's really not a lot of people that I can talk to, but God is here. He hears my prayers. He's close to the brokenhearted. And so I just went to him and I just talked to him. I, bore out my heart and I, told him how I was feeling. And that has really kind of helped me a lot. um, God is good. God is able to restore the broken parts that we have. God is able to help us. And I think there was a part of me that I kind of felt like, as a Christian, I shouldn't be feeling depressed. Like, you're a Christian, why are you depressed? But I realized, there are actual characters in the Bible that were depressed. You have David who, had an affair with Bathsheba, and then he killed her husband. And he, in several places in Psalms, he kind of talks about, his depression, his despair, from his sin. And you think it's like God actually called David a man after his own heart, you know, and still, like, even after he knew, even when he knew that he was going to sin against him, even when he knew that he was going to struggle with depression and with all those different things that he struggled with after his sin, he still, called him a man after his heart. And then you also have Elijah. Elijah, witnessed so many great victories that God did during his time. And after, like, witnessing the big victory with the Baal gods, he goes into a depressive state because he's been chased by I forget her name, by Jezebel. He's been chased around, and he's fearing for his life, and he feels depressed. And God is there. God is there to soothe him, to be with him, and he doesn't reprimand him or look down on him. Like, how can you be depressed after all the things that I've done? He actually is there. He feeds him, and that was like so crazy. It's so crazy to see that. And then you have Job, like, he also, goes through all of this loss, and God is there for him as well. Moses as well. Like, there's so many different characters in the Bible that, go through moments of depression, of despair, of worry, and we see how God comforts them and is there for them. And I think just that kind of inspired me to understand that He's not angry with me because I'm depressed or because I feel hopeless or I feel down. He's there with me. And I know for me, most of my depression, some of it, came about because I kind of felt bad for my sin, for the fact that I allowed myself to be in this position. So just knowing that God still loved me even after what I've done, that really kind of takes that weight off of your shoulder, to help you understand that he's not gonna leave. He's seen the future before it happens. He knows everything that's gonna happen, and everything that has happened, he's already seen it, and he has, you know, um, accounted for it all when we trust in him. So leaning on God, coming to him and being honest with him and just saying, God, like, I'm struggling, I'm going through this situation, I feel guilty, I feel sad about all the things that have happened, I feel worried. Being able to talk to him openly just really takes off the burden and kind of puts it on somebody who is strong enough to handle all of it. So I really encourage you to do that, to just, if you are feeling really sad and depressed and you're a Christian and you've put your trust in God, to lean on him, to go to him, to let him, be your refuge, and just trust that he will, bring you through. Another thing also is just reading the Bible and having Bible verses, written around that kind of remind you not to worry, not to stress, not to, fear, because God is in control. When we've trusted God with our life, then we can be assured that he is in control, and he knows everything that's going to happen, and he's strong enough to handle all of it. Now, the other thing that I did to help my, and this is actually something that I ended up doing like years after, after I realized that I'm really struggling with depression, or I really need help, is that I actually finally sought the help of a therapist. I was really kind of afraid of doing this before. There's a lot of stigma when it comes to therapy, like, oh, you must be really, sick if you're actually, seeking therapy. Something must be really, really wrong with you. So there's a lot of stigma, and that definitely kept me away from the therapist's office, because I felt like I didn't want that attached to me, that, oh my gosh, I'm going to therapy. I didn't want that attached to me, that something was really wrong with me. But I've realized that, I feel like it's actually becoming more trendy nowadays, though, that you hear about it a lot more. Um, but in the beginning, I was just really afraid. I didn't really want to, go and tell somebody else, what I was going through. I didn't know if they could even help me. So I didn't really want to pursue that option in the beginning. But last year is when I just reached a point where I'm like, oh my goodness, like I don't want to keep going like this. Like, I was so unmotivated. The things that used to interest me in the past just weren't interesting me, and I had just been in that place for so long that I just was like, I really want something to change. Something needs to change right now, because I can't keep going on like this. So I finally sought a therapist. I kind of went with a Christian therapist, because I wanted somebody who would be able to, rely on the Bible for biblical truth, so that I can get, wisdom from the Bible, in terms of helping me with with my problems. So my therapist has been really helpful. Gosh, she's been amazing, especially since she's kind of helped me not only with my depression, but also with co-parenting. Like, she's given me a lot of tips in on how to like set boundaries, on how to kind of manage some of the things that I'm struggling with. She's really been really helpful to help me understand how I can handle certain behaviors or certain things that happen. So I really am grateful for that, and I would really encourage you, if you're in a place where you're really struggling, that you should definitely seek a therapist. It may take you some time to find one that you actually like sync with, or you feel like really understands your issues and is able to address them. But definitely take the time to look at that option if you feel like you're in a place where you're really, really struggling and you just need somebody, a professional, to be able to, help you understand how to navigate this part of your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why spend too much time just getting ready? Let me be honest, I don't know a single thing that I haven't done to make you notice me. Let me be real here. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. I don't know what I could say to convince you to hang around when you don't have to. There's so much that I'm still keeping to myself, 'cause you don't listen, babe. But still you got me missing you. When I see you, my heart starts racing, but I don't know if I like this chasing and playing and waiting around. It's a shame that my hands start shaking all of the time when you're around me. But this time, girl, I know what's bothering me. I need somebody to love. Oh, nah, 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 nah. Don't you see what's wrong with me? I need somebody to love. Oh, oh, nah, nah. God, I'm sick of this waiting. You got me going crazy tonight. So why don't you come on over and be my somebody to love? Somebody to love, somebody to love, somebody. I need somebody to love. I need somebody. I need somebody.
Now, tip number 3 here is more about, exercise and taking care of yourself. So I have realized, like, actually, before I became a mom, like, I used to go to the gym all the time. Like, I would be there for 2 hours almost every single day. But after becoming a mom, like, I just kind of stopped. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped, exercising and taking care of myself. And then even more, like, after, when the stresses and the challenges kind of became a lot, like, I didn't take care of myself at all. And of course that kind of adds on to the depression. When you're not taking care of yourself, when you're not eating the right foods, when you're not exercising and moving your body, like, you're more likely to feel depressed and to continue to stay in a depressive state. So going out more is really beneficial, like being out in nature, even for a walk or just going to the park. It really improves your mood a lot. When you get out of your environment, especially since your environment kind of adds on to that stress that you may be struggling with. But when you can get out of your environment and get out and be in nature, it really, really helps.
Que siempre estremece. Si valgo algo, ¿quién soy? Si alguien me amara como soy. Me he sentido mal todos estos meses, pero sé que el día vendrá en que la luz me brillará. Quiero solo esa mirada que me asegure que no pasa nada, que todo ha estado bien, que fue un sueño y desperté, pero en mi interior siempre gritaban todas penas que querían ser curadas. Yo quiero amarme también. Algún día lo lograré, lo lograré, lo lograré. Saldré de esta, lo lograré, lo lograré. Saldré de esta. Ya no tengo miedo, lo que tengo es ganas. Lo bonito del futuro, no ver barreras ni esos muros. Aunque pierdas, sé que siempre algo ganas. No lo veía por inseguro, todo en mi vida era oscuro. Ahora tengo esa mirada que me asegura que no pasa nada, que todo ha estado bien, que fue un sueño y desperté ya en mí. Y tiro no existe nada, todas esas penas ya fueron curadas. Yo aprendí a amarme también, orgulloso lo logré. Lo lograré, lo lograré. Saldré de esta, lo lograré, lo lograré. Saldré de esta. Estamos muy bien, solo hay que saber cómo amarse, cómo aprender. Hola, ya, ya, hola. Right, right, right. Estamos muy bien, solo hay que saber cómo amarse, cómo aprender. Hola, ya, ya, hola. Guay, ya, ya, ya. Esas fuerzas tengo el empeño, mejorarme como persona. No soy de esos que no luchan. Espero que lo mismo hagas con problemas de tu vida, no son condenas, se resuelven y ya está. Lo lograré, lo lograré. Saldré de esta, lo lograré, lo lograré. Saldré de esta. Estamos muy bien, solo hay que saber cómo amarse, cómo aprender. Hola, ya, ya, hola. Right, right, right. Estamos muy bien, solo hay que saber cómo amarse, cómo aprender. Hola, ya, ya, hola. Guay, ya, ya, ya.
Now, going off of the exercise, the other thing is to just really take care of yourself and practice self care. I used to think that self care was selfish. Self care is something that you do when you don't have kids, okay? When you don't have responsibilities, when you don't have to work two jobs. That's when you do self care. You don't have any time to do self care when you've got two kids who need your attention. That was my mindset before, but now I realize just how important it is. And I don't mean like being selfish and disregarding your responsibilities so that you can go and have a spa day every day. That's not what I mean. What I mean is establishing little habits or little routines that you want to do to kind of help you be better. Even when it comes to going out on a spa date, that is actually pretty good, and you can do it once in a while where you just take yourself out and take yourself on a date or get a manicure, get a pedicure. the biggest thing with these things is that they just really improve your outlook on yourself. And when you start to view yourself in a positive light, you're more likely to also um that kind of also impacts your mind, and how you think about yourself, how you think about your situation. So when you can get yourself out of your environment and put yourself in a new environment where you're taking care of yourself, it has a significant impact. And I'm also like at that stage where I am prioritizing this even more, just making sure that I am feeding my body the right foods, and just doing the things that I know are going to benefit me and help me to be better. And those things just really impact you. They really help you in terms of your mental health. Like, it's crazy just how food itself has an impact, on your mental health. So like consuming foods that are rich in nutrients that boosts your that boosts your mood, those that also kind of helps you with not feeling depressed a lot. So yeah, that's definitely another tip that I would recommend for you if you're not already doing it, that you definitely want to start doing that as well. Okay, like tip number 5 here would be to have the right support systems in place to kind of help you. as a single mom, or even just a mom in general, like we definitely need support. It's really helpful when you have people that you can lean on when you're struggling with something. I really thank God that I've had such a great support system in terms of my family. They've been there through everything. They've really helped me a lot in a lot of different ways. So I'm really grateful for them. What's so funny with me is that when I try to tell my parents, I mean, that my parents are African, they don't really understand or um, appreciate how depression can affect you. Growing up in Africa, like, you don't really talk about depression as much. Like, everybody's struggling. Like, what do you have to like talk about? So when I first came to them and I was like, I'm really struggling. I feel depressed and I feel sad. Their response was just suck it up and keep on going because we're all struggling. And I definitely understand that their viewpoint, because that's the mindset that they have. When they struggle too, they don't really talk about their mental health issues. They just keep it to themselves and just keep it pushing. And I definitely understand that part. But even though like even though I kind of felt that I couldn't really talk to them about, oh, I'm struggling with depression, they were still there for me. They really helped me in a lot of places and a lot of ways that I needed help in, whether it was financially or in taking care of my kids when I just, needed a break. They just have been there for me. So I really would encourage you, if you don't already have it, to create a support system of people that you can lean on when you're feeling depressed, or when you're feeling like hopeless, or like things just aren't going to get better for you. So having that in place, just really helps tremendously. So that could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be a support group that you find online. They definitely have a lot of support groups online for moms as well, that you can look up and find some support that way. Um, and yeah, just you definitely got to get out there and find something. One of the biggest things that I've realized, in this situation, especially when you're a single mom and you don't really have anybody to talk to, like, you really have to get out of your own way and go out there and actually meet people when you need the help. Like, you can't just stay, you know, in your house. You can't just stay in that state and expect somebody to come, and ask you, hey, do you need some help? Like, you actually have to get out and look for whatever it is that you need. So if you need support, get out there and look for it. It's really, it's makes a world of a difference when you have that than when you don't. Another thing is, try not to be alone and isolated too much, especially when you feel sad or you feel overwhelmed by your emotions. Um, we, this is something that I struggle with too, because I like to be alone. Like, I'm a loner. I'd rather be in the house by myself than go outside and be with people. But when I am depressed, when I'm feeling sad, when I have all of these thoughts running through my head, it is not in my best interest to be by myself. It's much better when I'm with other people, even when I don't want to be. When you're with other people, it definitely takes your mind off of yourself and what you're going through, and kind of puts your focus somewhere else. So I would definitely encourage you not to be alone and isolated when you're depressed. If you don't have any family or friends nearby, then you can always just go out to a restaurant, go out to a different place where there are other people. I feel like even just seeing people happy, seeing people, doing things, it may make your depression worse, or it may make you feel better, to be out there, to be with other people. But yeah, definitely try not to be alone, and just try to be out with people that you can, be happy with, and just enjoy life with, instead of just being by yourself. Tip number 6 goes hand in hand with self care and taking care of yourself, and that is just to get enough sleep. It's so crazy how these small things have such a large impact on our lives, but sleep is so important. Um, there are actually studies that show that people who don't get enough sleep are more likely to be depressed. So sometimes, if you're in a season where you're feeling like your moods kind of are off, then you may just need to, get some more sleep, and that can be a hard thing when you're a single mom. Like, how am I supposed to get enough sleep when I have all of these other responsibilities that I need to do? But you have to find ways to, get enough sleep so that you can be able to be well rested and be able to function properly for your sake and for the sake of your kids. You can take naps during the day. You can, work out your schedule and your routine so that you go to sleep a little earlier. Whatever it is that you need to do that works with your situation, you definitely need to do it so that you're taking care of yourself, so that you can do the same thing for your children and for your family. But it's so crazy just how something as simple as sleep has such a profound impact on our lives.
Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Everyone always keep falling in love again. What's wrong with them? I don't understand. Maybe it will pass by, someone save me. Before I pass out, I'm too lonely to be done. I'ma drink at this place. Yeah. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain with nobody to hold on to? Why am I the only one who's feeling this pain when there should be two of us? And yeah, I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy and you don't. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain? If I had an option to be someone else, I would, and let go of you. I know that I'm obvious, forget I'm made this way, but why didn't I stay when I had the chance? Maybe it will pass by, someone save me. Before I pass out, I'm too lonely to be done in my drink at this pace. Yeah. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain with nobody to hold on to? Why am I the only one who's feeling this pain when there should be two of us? And yeah, I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy and you don't. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain? The only one that's left in the rain. The only one that's left in the rain. Am I the only one? 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 Wish I could say I was finally over you, but that's not the truth. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain with nobody to hold on to? Why am I the only one who's feeling this pain when there should be two of us? And yeah, I know we both wanted different things, but letting go just comes easy and you don't. Why am I the only one who's left in the rain?
By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts about this topic. Leave me a like, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe for more content like this. I also have a blog at faithmartini.com where I share, some of my experiences as a single mom. So you definitely want to check that out as well. I do share some tips of some of the ways that I have overcome some struggles in my life as well. So yeah, that's definitely another spot that you definitely want to check after you're done watching this video. But tip number 7 for me, something that has really kind of helped, is with just practicing mindfulness. And this is something that my therapist kind of helped me understand. With mindfulness, it's just a way of you being in the moment instead of being in the future or being in other places that cause you to, stress or feel anxious or feel depressed. I've realized with my depression, as I mentioned previously, it was as a result of some of it, came from, just being stressed, being overwhelmed, and then also just guilt and shame from my choices and the things that I've done in the past. So those things made me feel like hopeless, that I don't have anything to look forward to. But when I kind of step back and start to look at my life, in the present instead of focusing on the past, it really kind of has an impact, because then you're not worrying about what you did in the past, but you're focused on what's going on right now and how you can change right now to be better. So that's definitely a huge thing that you can do. You can meditate on scripture, and that kind of helps you to be in the present and to just focus on what's more important than, the thing that is causing you depression or anxiety or stress. So I definitely would encourage you to do that as well, and to seek out different techniques that you can use to cope when you find yourself in those periods of, depression. Now, another tip that could help you when you're in a depressed state is to find hobbies that you enjoy and to do those. Um, I know you may not feel like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything. I just want to sit down and be in my thoughts, but that's definitely not the place that you want to be. Find activities, hobbies, things that you used to like before that brought you joy, and do those things again. It could be, cooking or spending time with your kids, or some sort of arts and crafts activity, whatever it is that you really like to do that you feel like you've kind of lost interest in because you've felt hopeless about things, or you've been in a different state. Try to go back to those things or find new things that you can be excited about. To get out of that depression state, you definitely have to get out of your own world and be out doing something different, something that kind of helps you to not think about your problems. So, whatever that is for you, you should definitely seek that out and do it often, because it will give you a sense, it will give you something to look forward to when you don't have anything to look forward to. You can look forward to painting, or cooking, or going to the gym, or trying out a new exercise. And that by itself definitely improves your mood, and helps you to have a better outlook on your life. A great hobby, and I mean, you can consider it a hobby, would be to volunteer and put yourself in a place where you're serving other people. Like when you have to help somebody else, it definitely takes you out of your world, especially when that person is doing worse than you are. It really kind of helps you appreciate what you have, and puts your life into perspective when you can see the struggles that other people have. So volunteering is a really great way for you to, pursue a hobby that you might like, while being of service to other people who may need you. And actually being of service and putting yourself in a position where somebody else needs you, it really uplifts your spirits and helps you to not feel like you're worthless or useless, but to feel helpful to somebody. So that's a great way for you to, get out of your head, out of your comfort zone, and to be out, helping somebody else, doing something that you enjoy. Okay, guys, so I have shared with you different ways that I have found that have helped me with my depression. I actually don't like to use the term my depression because I don't own it. It doesn't belong to me. But ways that I have helped me cope with depression. I hope that my tips and my story, even though it's not the full story, but my story actually helps you if you're going through a season in your life where you feel discouraged, where you feel depressed, where you feel like you don't have anything to live for. I hope this is gives you the motivation to keep going. And I hope that the tips that I have provided for you will kind of give you some ideas on how you can overcome what you're struggling with and, rise so that you can be the best mom to your children, and best for yourself as well, because your family needs you, your kids need you. So when you're in a good place mentally, you're definitely able to take better care of them and your home, and making sure your home stays in a state that it needs to stay in, so that your family and yourself can function properly. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Let me know if you enjoyed the tips. If you have more tips, I would love to hear them. So be sure to leave them down below for me to read and hear about those. And I really do appreciate you watching this video and sticking with it so far, guys. And I'll be seeing you on the next one pretty soon here. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe for more content, and I'll be seeing you on another one pretty soon. Bye bye.
Another season we leave behind.